The news this evening, lawyer backs court ruling allowing Governor Fubara to present 2025 budgets to three-member assembly. Police confirm 18 injured, no life lost in gas explosion at Orazi, Port Harcourt. Rivers private schools risk sanctions over resumption date violations. On the foreign scene, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau resigns. I am Kalada Kurubatobo. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma. We will go for a quick commercial. When we return, the news in detail. Innocent Eku says the recent State High Court judgment empowering Governor Siminalayi Fubara to proceed with legislative activities involving the three-member Rivers State House of Assembly is justified under Section 109, subsection 1G of the Nigerian Constitution. Mr. Eku told our correspondent that the Constitution clearly states that the 27 lawmakers led by Martin Amewule lost their seats following their alleged defection.
I have read through the judgment. I agree totally with the reasoning of the Rivers State High Court because of the Rivers State House of Assembly and by Section 109 sub 1G of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those 27 members who defected by that provision of the Constitution, they lost membership of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It is automatic and that is the law. The remaining members, that is the OCO-led House of Assembly, remain the valid House of Assembly for Rivers State government to transact with the business of government.
On the rulings of the court, or on the rulings by the Court of Appeal and the Federal High Court, Mr. Eku explained that the matter is now before the Supreme Court. He said that until the Supreme Court delivers its judgment, Governor Fubara is acting within the law by presenting the state budgets to the three-member assembly.
There was no clear-cut question as to the event of that day of defection. And so there has not been a hearing by the Court of Appeal on that. So that cannot be used to peddle the fact that they have defected. But the issue of the Court of Appeal is now at the Supreme Court, so everybody will wait. As far as it has been appealed, business goes on until the Supreme Court decides.
As you may know, the Rivers State High Court ruled that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is legally empowered to transact business with the three lawmakers who have not vacated their seats in the State House of Assembly. This was contained in a court decision given on the 20th of December 2024 by presiding Judge Justice Sika Preku. He dismissed the suit seeking to compel the governor to represent the 2024 budget to the Martin Amewule-led Assembly. The suit was filed by the registered trustees of the Association of Legislative Drafting and Advocacy Practitioners and had the government of Rivers State Governor Fubara and the Attorney General of the state as defendants. Justice Apreko ruled that until the Supreme Court gives its verdict on the issue of jurisdiction, which affects the status of the 27 lawmakers, it is only those who did not vacate their seats the governor can constitutionally approach to present budget, appoint chief judges and president, customary court, and also screen commissioners, including the Attorney General, and make board appointments. Away from that, the Rivers State Police Command says no lives were lost in the gas explosion that occurred in the Orazi community of Port Harcourt. The command spokesperson, SP Grace Iringo, The command spokesperson, SP Grace Iringo Koko, verified the incident in an interview with newsmen today. She, however, confirmed that 18 people sustained severe injuries in the explosion that happened on Sunday evening at a gas refilling shop. She said the explosion was caused by a welder repairing a refrigerator. She said the technician was using a gas cylinder to weld while at the same time trying to refill gas into the refrigerator, which led to the explosion. She also said the police have launched a full investigation into the incident and will share their findings with the public. In the meantime, safety experts and a stakeholder in the oil and gas sector have called on government regulatory agencies to strengthen their safety measures to curb the rising incidents of gas cylinder explosions. A health and safety consultant, Kenneth Uyi, called for stricter safety regulations to reduce such incidences. Speaking on strategies to prevent gas cylinder explosions within the Port Harcourt metropolis, Mr. Uyi urged the government to enhance its oversight and enforcement mechanisms.
Educating people on occupational safety of equipment, the risks associated with their job, and how to manage the risk associated with their job. That's where it will start from. Then they should go back to the drawing table and look at various laws that support the prohibition of certain activities in certain locations and ensure that standards are in place, communicated to the people, and ensure that the regulatory bodies go around to ensure that people comply 100% to all of these laws and standards. It's the only way to manage this. Otherwise, it will just keep happening.
Another health and safety consultant, Ori Etemed Jacob, expressed concerns over the lack of enforcement of urban laws regulating the proximity of commercial and residential areas. Mr. Jacob spoke to correspondent Soibi Uruwari.
Because of the volatile nature of the gas and the high-risk activity nature, those activities that has to do with the use of industrial gas and the calling on attention of government. The urban planning must take into account location of industries. Land Use Act, utilization of land use, should emphasize on where residential areas are and where industrial areas should be. Now, this is the common practice, particularly in Port Harcourt, I have seen along the road. You will see where they are manually dispensing gas, and the next shop is a printing press.
On his part, the chairman of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron Rivers State, Francis Dingpa, spoke on the dangers of patronizing roadside gas filling stations. Mr. Dingpa attributed the frequent explosions to customers using expired gas cylinders. In another development, the Director of Energy Security, Office of the National Security Advisor, Ojukaye Flagamakri, has reiterated his commitment in ensuring a sustainable, stable, secure energy supply to all Nigerians. Mr. Flagamakri said this during a course of visit to the GOC 6th Division Nigeria Army Bori Camp, Port Harcourt. Major General Jamal Abdusalam and the Commanding Officer, Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral John Okeke, represented by Commodore P.E. Meteke at the headquarters OPDS Yenegua Bios State. He assured stakeholders of his willingness to work in synergy with all parties in carrying out the mandate of President Bola Tinubu.
A production amount 2.2 million a day. The National Security Advisor to the President has left no stone unturned, and that is why he has commissioned me to ensure that we do everything possible to achieve the target. My key message is that Nigerians should be very hopeful that the president plans for Nigeria will be achieved by ensuring that we do our own best to meet up the files that the president needs to have the necessary funding to achieve all that he has planned for the year.
The visit was made alongside the CEO, New Guard Security Projects Management Office overseeing private security companies, Major General Jamilu Saham, retired. Mr. Flagamakri also visited the Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, a stakeholder in the oil and gas industry. Still to come, Rivers private schools risk sanctions over resumption date violations. Do stay tuned as we go for a quick commercial. Welcome back now to the rest of the newscast. The Commissioner for Education in Rivers State, Ovi Chukwuma, has frowned at some private schools for failing to comply with the scheduled resumption date of the academic term. Dr. Chukwuma said this today when he embarked on monitoring of schools to ascertain the level of resumption compliance and adherence to the 2024-2025 academic calendar by schools operating in the state. He warned that any school that does not resume tomorrow will face sanctions.
Where I'm not too satisfied is with the private schools that are yet to reopen, which to my best of my knowledge, we didn't give any counter information at school for not reopening today. So for wherever they've got those that are not.
Dr. Chukwuma, however, expressed satisfaction with the public schools he visited, saying students and teachers were seen carrying out academic activities and also cleaning their classrooms. Some of the schools visited are Government Girls Secondary School, Rumukuta, Community Secondary School, Rumi Precom, Holy Priesthood International School, Ada George, and British Royal Class Academy, Ada George, all in Port Harcourt. Moving on. The owner of a building next to the collapsed three-story building under construction at Igruta, Alisa Peters, has urged authorities to demolish the remaining portion of the building. In an interview with our correspondent, Mrs. Peters expressed concern that another collapse could severely damage her bungalow. One of the tenants recounted how he narrowly escaped when the building collapsed. Reports say about 6 people are in the hospital and the last victim was rescued with the help of an excavator. The site of the collapse has since been sealed off. Meanwhile, a town planning expert has identified structural defects as one of the reasons for the regular building collapse in River State. Mr. Njoku, a former publicity secretary of Town Planning Association in River State, said this while speaking to correspondent Onyekachi Nwosu. He also lamented a lack of professionals in the Ministry of Town Planning to supervise construction works in the state.
Has only about 3 professionals, and out of that 3, only 2 are certified, and there is no civil engineer in that department. But fortunately, commissioners will do this ad hoc thing whereby they come in the form of compliance. These are supposed to do the work of the professional, and majority of these guys, they are not town planners, they are not engineers, they are not architects. So most times they just go there, do asset, and then probably take kickback from the papers, and that is it. So until we go back to the drawing board, follow the procedure that established the Land Control Department and staff them accordingly going on. And by so you are not sure we'll be having this series of collapse.
Mr. Njoku accused some building owners for hiring unqualified people to handle their construction works.
Professionals involved in most of the collapse. At the long run, after investigation, you find that they are actually not registered members of these relevant professions. Because most builders want to cut costs. When they approach the registered professionals, they say, your fees are too high. So they will prefer to go for what I would call foremen, who probably got the experience by working with professionals, and then they see themselves as engineers or as professionals. So builders, they also need to invite back. This is an investment that you are doing not just for yourself, but whoever is going to occupy that structure. So you don't need to cut corners. Developers should be able to engage the right persons no matter the cost.
In other news, chiefs and elders of Elikpokwodu community in Obiakpo local government area have sent a Save Our Soul message to the River State government and security agencies over the activities of land grabbers in the area. In a media briefing, the spokesperson of Elikpokwodu Council of Chiefs and Elders, Eze Onda Ngbakiri, said the recent invasion has got into the backyards. Eze Ngbakiri accused Eze Bekwele Weliatam of Rumaolu and Mike Oyagari of Kiwi Gust Global Resources Limited of invading their land with armed thugs.
Our land has been invaded by land grabbers, led by Chief Bekwele Atam and Managing Director Grigos Global Resources, Mike Oyagri from Edo State. They have connived and invaded our land with thugs and courties in order to undo Elikpokwodu people as to take over our property. They are even trying to drive some of us away from our houses. We call on the River State government to come to our aid, the local government chairman to also come to our aid and see with their eyes what is happening at our backyard.
On his part, Eze Imekele Odu said the land Oyamili Elikpokwodu is not in contention, warning buyers against wasting their money.
We're also informing the general public that anybody who is buying land from these people are doing so at their own risk. So if there is breakdown of law and order in that place, I think Bekwele Atam should be held responsible. We are therefore calling on the Commissioner of Police to investigate the land grabbing activities masterminded by Bekwele Atam of Rumawolu, who has currently hired the services of land grabbers in the person of Michael Yagri, the Managing Director of Rigorous Global Resources. They have currently invaded our land, which had never been in contention with anybody.
When contacted, Mr. Oyagari said he is working for Rumaolu, adding that Elikpokwodu chiefs and elders should settle boundary disputes with Rumaolu paramount ruler and chiefs. Also, Ezewele attempts Ebrumolu won Oyamili Mba at the Supreme Court in 1961 against Elipokodu community.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Justin Trudeau has resigned as leader of Canada's governing party after nearly a decade as Prime Minister. Mr. Trudeau says in a news conference in Ottawa that he will stay on as Prime Minister until a new Liberal Party leader is chosen. He said the country deserves a real choice at the next election. Mr. Trudeau had been under growing pressure from within his party and elsewhere to step down. On the news this evening, you heard a lawyer has backed the court ruling allowing Governor Fubara to present the 2025 budget to 3-member assembly. Police say no life was lost in the gas explosion at Orazi, Port Harcourt. Rivers private schools risk sanctions over resumption date violations. On the foreign scene, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has resigned. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215.